So there I was, running out of time, rushing to meet a deadline again, frantically trying to cut out anything that wasn't super important. I was working so hard, but I just couldn't seem to get to my projects. Stressed and frustrated, but I didn't want to let people down, even if it meant getting less sleep. Why did I always run out of time? I thought I had learned to work efficiently, so what was the problem? And then I had an epiphany. What if I managed my time the same way that I managed my money? What if I budgeted my time? Well, after that, everything changed. I was able to scale back from working 60 to 70 hours a week while doing my doctorate to about 40 hours a week, finally achieving some much needed work-life balance. And my productivity soared. I was able to complete a huge 3-year project on schedule without missing deadlines. Over the years, I've developed a customized time budgeting system that has allowed me to achieve some things that seemed impossible before I started treating time like money. Let's talk about 6 ways that time management is like managing money. Well, first of all, every day we get another chance to use our time wisely. It's the same with our budget. Every day we have choices about how we're going to spend our money. We can waste it on little things that don't last, that are temporary, or we can invest it into something that will last a long time and that will generate returns for us. It's the same with our time. Every single morning we have a new chance to decide how we're going to spend our time. Maybe we wasted our time yesterday. Maybe we didn't use it very efficiently. But today we have another choice. How are we going to spend our time today? The second way that time management is like managing money is that we trade it for things based on our needs and our desires. So with our money, we trade our money for some fixed expenses like rent, insurance. We trade it also for some flexible or discretionary expenses like restaurants and entertainment. And we have some choices. We have some things we have to pay, but we have some other things that we just decide we're going to spend our money on. It's the same thing with our time. We do have some fixed time commitments like work and meetings and routine responsibilities. And then within that work time, we can decide how we're going to use our time and how we can use it most efficiently. But we also have choices that are flexible with our time. So things like hobbies and spending time with people, relaxing. So that's another way that managing our time is exactly the way we manage our money. The third thing is that once it's spent or wasted, we cannot get it back. So we can't change how we used our money up till today. If we spend it on something, it's too late. We're not getting that money back. It's the same with our time. However we used our time up till yesterday, it's gone. We can't get it back. We have a certain number of hours in the day. We have a certain number of days in our life. We can't change how we use them up till now. And we don't even know how many days we're going to have in our life. So we need to make the best of what we have today and make sure we're not wasting it. Fourth way is that if we want to know where our time went, we have to track it. So with our money, we know the first step in creating a financial budget is to track every dollar and see where it goes. Well, the first step in creating a time budget is to track every hour and see where it goes. And we can do that by using a time tracker, some way of tracking how we are spending our time. And when I started using a method of tracking my time, it made an amazing difference in my profitability and my productivity. The fifth way that we find that time is like money is that we can invest it for a greater return to increase it. So if you've ever made an investment financially, you understand the power of compound interest and how when you leave your money in an investment over time, it just grows and grows. You get interest on the interest and it multiplies very quickly. Well, the same thing can happen with our time. We can invest our time to increase it. Now, I know we only get 24 hours in a day. Everybody gets the same amount, but there are things that we can do that will make our time worth more. And we do that through things like investing time to lay out a process for something that we have to do periodically, or creating a checklist. And then every time we have to do that project or that task, it's faster because we don't have to think it through every time. We don't have to think about the next steps. We've already laid out the process. And so in that way, it's just one example of how we can invest time to increase time. And then finally, the sixth way that managing our time is like managing money is that we can avoid debt by budgeting. Now, financial debt is stressful. Most of us have experienced it. And it takes a lot of determination and intentionality to get out of debt. And once we do, when we pay off a debt, it's just like a big weight is off our shoulders. It's an amazing feeling. So when we talk about our time, what is the kind of debt that we get into with our time? Well, I think that time debt involves some different things. First of all, it could be stress. We create time debt, we create stress when we are not managing our time, budgeting it in the way we should, because we have to rush, we miss deadlines, and that's stressful. We have to be intentional to try to fix that. Another way we create time debt, unfortunately, is that we rob from other areas in our life. If we're not budgeting our time in an effective way, it means that we're going to have to work more than we expected, and we're going to have to rob time from something else that's important, like sleep, or time with our family, or just time to relax. And so it's important that we stay out of debt when we're talking about time. And the only way to do that is to budget our time. So we see how managing our time can be achieved the same way that we are managing our money. We need to budget our time, just like we budget our money. So let's just recap the points that we covered, the ways that time management is like managing money. First of all, every day we get another chance to use it wisely. Just like we get another chance to use our money wisely, we get another chance to use our time wisely. Secondly, we trade our time for things that we either want or need. Just like we use our money to pay for things we want or need, we can decide how to use our time for things that we want or need. So we have some things that are non-negotiable that have to be done, but we also have discretion over some other things. We can make choices about them. The third way was once our time is spent or wasted, we can't get it back. And it's the same with our money. If it's gone, it's gone. Our time, if it's gone, it's gone. And so we need to really be conscious of today how we are using it. The fourth way was that if we want to know where our time went, we have to track it. Just like you will not know where your money went unless you track it. We have to do that with our time. And so when we create a time budget, we can see where our time is going, and we can look back and say, oh, I know what I did last week or last month, and then we won't be wondering where our time went. The fifth way was that we can invest our time to increase it by creating processes and checklists and other things that will save us time in the future. And then finally, we can avoid time debt when we budget our time properly. And time debt is just those things that cause stress or that rob other parts of our life that are really important. Now, you may have heard the expression time value of money. And simply what that means is that if you use $1 well today, it's going to be worth more than $1 in the future. And that's because of the positive effect of compound interest and the negative effect of inflation that comes into play there. You can offset that by investing. But in this video, we have seen the monetary value of time. Time is money. And if we can start managing our time the same way that we manage our money, budgeting it, planning it out ahead, how we're going to spend it, instead of wondering where it went, well, that can have an incredible effect on your life. So if you're struggling with time management and stress and deadlines, having trouble scheduling your projects because you have no idea how long they're going to take because you haven't been tracking your time, so you're just guessing at how long something's going to take, there is a solution. The solution is to use skills that you've already developed in budgeting your money and apply those to your time. So, I have a question for you. Do you look at your calendar the same way that you look at your checkbook? Feel free to comment below. Do you look at your calendar the same way you look at your checkbook? So when you look at your checkbook, you see money that you can use, or sometimes you see that your money's getting low and you've got to be a little careful and make really, really strategic decisions. So when we look at our calendar, what do we see? Each day, each hour, it is a resource that we can use. And sometimes we look at it and we see that it's too full or that we're getting too close to our deadlines and that we have to make some very strategic decisions. So feel free to comment below on that question. Do you look at your calendar the same way that you look at your checkbook? Also, be sure to click the subscribe button so you can find out about other videos in this series. We're going to dig into each of the principles that we talked about in this video, and we're going to discuss some very practical applications for each of them.